Hey, Rebels, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to dive into a weekly analysis. I know I'm doing this a little bit early. I actually at a wedding right now. My brother just got married, so I was his best man. That was a lot of fun. So I probably won't have a chance to get to a video on Sunday, which is when I like to do it on the close. But I figured I might as well dive into another weekly analysis. And I also want to walk through some of the trades that I'm getting into right now in those positions and how you can follow those along in real time because I have a Telegram group as well as another social media platform that I post my trades live. And so you can follow those at any time. So anyway, if that sounds good, please like and subscribe. And we're just going to dive in again, see what the weekly analysis is telling us. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been following this three red week signal, and I have them highlighted here. And as you can see, typically after we have three red weeks and the bears have control for three consecutive weeks, we generally are in for lower prices. You know, we have three red weeks and we breach the swing low here for lower prices. Happened again here. We had three red weeks. And we broke the swing low here down for lower prices. Not by much, but it just typically indicates that we'll have a rally, kind of a relief rally, and it is often met by another sweep to the downside, right? So we had 3 weeks down here. Again, we tried to rally, broke down to the downside. So we've talked about this for the last couple weeks, and we're still basically waiting on confirmation for this signal or just to see how the signal is playing out, right? So we have these three red weeks. We have a couple weeks to the upside. We're meeting resistance right now. And the question is, do we go for lower prices like the previous signals have suggested, or do we go on for higher prices? The answer to that is we just don't know. Nobody knows the right-hand side of the chart. That's why we have to dive in every week and kind of just get an idea of where the market is going. So a lot of people don't like to hear that. Everybody wants to be told where and when the market is going to go to the upside, but that's just not the case. So we're just basically waiting for the market to show its hand right now. So one good piece of good news is we are getting later into the cycle, and I don't believe that, like in this case, we had these three red weeks, a couple of signals in the sideways chop. This was an 8 month consolidation. This was several months correction. I don't think that we're quite in for a long correction like that because we are entering the end of the cycle. I think we're going to get more greed and excitement enter the market. So even if we do go down for lower prices, I believe it will be relatively short-lived. And if you go through and look at these signals yourself, you can see that not every time we went for a correction was long lasting, right? We had a wick to the downside and a strong close to this week right here, basically ending the correction. But we did go down briefly, right? So I just want to highlight that just so that we're prepared. If the market does go down, we're not going to be surprised because we've seen this play out several times. I want to also show what happened last time because that we were in this environment. We are just now starting to see the exchange volume tick up while we are starting to see lots of breakouts in the altcoin space. And I'll get to that in the charts. But the last time this happened in this June, July period where we had this rising exchange volume with the rising prices, this is what I was talking about in the thumbnail where I was able to double the account size in a very short period of time. And I'll show you what that looks like on the chart here, if I can get to the right chart. Yeah, basically what had happened is we were in this very brief period, we had rising prices with rising volume. And just in this very short few weeks, I was able to double the account. And you can kind of see how since then we've kind of just been in a choppy range and looking to start to break out of that chopping range right now. Like the market didn't really go anywhere during these last several weeks. And so, anyway, the reason I bring this up is because we're kind of seeing a similar environment where we're starting to see breakouts across the board, similar to this, with rising volume and rising prices. It's early days, but we do have the early signs that we could be double bottoming in the exchange. We've kind of been consolidating for the last several weeks. We've been talking about this on the channel, not really expecting higher prices until we can see a strong push in the exchange volume. So, the other thing that I saw that I found was interesting is I have on Google Trends comparing Bitcoin and crypto. And we can see that the interest in Bitcoin is kind of bleeding off while the interest in crypto is starting to rise. And this is, a very, very early indicator right here, but this is typically also what you would expect towards the end of the cycle where Bitcoin dominance is going down and it's yielding some of its dominance to the other altcoins. So this all actually kind of starts to make sense. So how do you put this together and be like, okay, well, how do I prepare for the potential further downside, but also try to prepare myself for the potential upcoming upside that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks on this channel, where you have the altcoins basically breaking out against Bitcoin and starting potentially a five-wave structure to the upside. And my answer to that is to be in the market. I like to be in the market because, basically enter when times are quiet and get out when things are exciting and loud. So I am going to go over a few trades that I'm in right now. One of them is Dogecoin. I like Doge because it's typically a first mover in that space. So all I've really done is I waited until Doge broke out of this weekly downtrend. You can kind of see this cup formation here where you can see that it kind of has a rounded base. And I basically bought on a break of this trend, and I had to hold for a few weeks. I had to hold for almost a month really before we started really getting into profit on this trade. And so now I'm basically just targeting the old highs, and that would be 115% profit on that trade. I have that in my Telegram group. I'll go over that shortly. Another one that I have is Virtuals. I was able to get into this quite a while ago on a break of this swing during that June, July period where I was able to double my account. Had this nice run up, and I was able to sell somewhere near the tops. Of course, didn't sell the exact top, but I was able to basically right around where these closes are and have a really good trade there. But what we see here, we have this descending wedge forming. Let me kind of clean this up a little bit. Yes, I do want to get rid of that. Boom. We have this descending wedge forming right here on Virtuals. I did get into this one a little bit early. I have this faded line here where you can see this weekly trend. And basically we broke this trend, and I bought it right when we broke that trend. And I knew that we weren't completing this descending wedge pattern yet. Again, I just like to get in the market a little bit early. I have my kind of a tight stop loss on this one, where if we broke structure and broke to the downside, I'd probably get out of that trade, maybe look for another entry. But right now we are just barely in profit. We are seeing, at least on a weekly time frame, some resistance at this descending wedge trend line, which you would expect. But right now that is ongoing. That's another trade of mine. And again, let's see, it was 340% to the upside, basically just targeting the highs. What I'm probably going to do on a lot of these is take 70% or so out once we get to those highs, because I believe that these will, once we hit that euphoric stage, will go on for even higher prices. But I don't need to hold on for too long. If we get in early, that's kind of the advantage. You get in early, you don't have to hold on for a very long period of time. The other one that I have is Sonic, previously Phantom, I believe. A lot of these trades, I'm just going to tell you, like, I got in pretty early because, like I said, I like to be in the market. I know there's potential for downside, but I'm also seeing breakouts across the board where we have these weekly downtrends that we're starting to break. This is a big deal for a chart to do because it has been weak and underneath this trend line for months and months and months, just starting to break out while things are quiet. So these are the times where I like to get interested. I have a couple different trend lines basically breaking out of there. And if you wanted to draw kind of another triangular pattern, happens all the time. Volatility gets reduced, it starts to squeeze, and it has to push one way or the other. And my hypothesis right now is it's going to push to the upside. So again, if you wanted higher confirmation trade or higher probability of success right now, you could wait for a breach of this swing top, and that would basically get you out of this structure and into a little bit more strength. You pay a higher premium and you get in a little bit later, but that's also okay because you're waiting for the charts to show more strength. So you have to make that decision up yourself, what makes sense to you in your trading style and your temperament and everything like that. That's the whole thing. I'm going to go through these trades. It's not a good idea to copy somebody's trades because my trade ideas are based on my temperament and my risk tolerance and my portfolio, and has everything to do with me and nothing really to do with you. So these are good trade ideas, but I like to show you what I look for in the charts. I don't want to find something that has already gone crazy. I like to find things that are quiet and showing signs that they're breaking weekly trends, looking to maybe building in an accumulation zone, poised to breach out of some kind of wedge pattern to the upside where, like I said, volatility is reducing. It has to go one way or the other. It has to pick a direction. My thesis is that it's going to be to the upside eventually. And of course, stops below this structure, because if we do that, then we may have to reassess and it may get stopped out and it may go against me and it may rip in my face. And that happens all the time too, as well. You have to be kind of prepared for all of these eventualities. But I want to just walk you through some of these trade ideas. Because again, this one right here from the entry just to the all-time highs there, 214%. We go up to this next fib level, 360%. So you can see that you don't have to hold on to these things for any crazy amount of time if you manage your risk properly. You can get, I mean, even up to this fib level, that's a 600% move. That's a 7x on your capital. So whether you sell all of it at that level or you scale out of it, that's up to you. The other one that I got in way early is Gun, which is a gaming project that I believe will potentially do very well in the future. But again, got into this one very early. And I guess I actually don't. Oh, there it is, way over here. Way over here. When I'm going to drag this one on over, you can see very early entry on this one. Actually got it way before spring break, basically just buying it, uh, seeing this double bottom and buying kind of in the mid range here. I think I bought it. I actually don't even know when I bought this one, but basically I knew I kind of wanted to have exposure to this one. This one's a smaller allocation because it is higher risk and higher risk of going against me because I did not wait until these trends started to break. You can actually see some weakness right here in this one where that candle came above, kind of have a fake out. So this one actually probably has a high probability of going against me. So we're going to have to follow the charts on that one. But what I do want to showcase is the Telegram group where I give these trades live so that you can see and my trading results here. And if we scroll back up here, not too far away, you can see some of the trades here and what the portfolio balance. I just started another portfolio with $11,000 and we're up actually $2,000 right now. I was actually able to take some profits and give it as a wedding gift to my brother, which was kind of nice. Let me see if I can go back up here to see the last trading campaign that we had and how well we did because I have the results in here where I was able to basically change that and double my account. Basically, I also think I have a video visual of that. Maybe I don't necessarily want to waste time trying to find that. So I will probably pop that in the video instead of trying to waste your time. But either way, I mean, profits and losses, you can see my net profits, oh, here we go, right? So I started with a $5,000 account and racked it up to almost an $18,000 account, got out with a little over double the original account size. So we're kind of in a similar environment where we're seeing that, and I'm starting a new challenge. That's basically why I got on here to showcase that I've started a new challenge, so to speak, and a new campaign. We're just going to follow it along and see how we go. Right now, my strategy is to be in to be kind of larger caps, and not really trying to go into the micro caps or smaller caps right now. These are probably even on the riskier side, to be honest. But like I said, I'm mostly looking for good risk rewards. I do have other trades that I actually have not shown today, so perhaps we can go through that in another video. Other than that, we're basically the same kind of thing. We've talked about the different predictive cycles where I put composites together. It looks like we're still, again, having kind of a low sideways period in this September, October area and having kind of a strong finish maybe in, later Q4 of this year. So I think that we're still on track for that. Not a whole lot of new things to report. We are still kind of in this seasonal time that I've highlighted many times in this August to October area where we can see lows form or kind of have sideways consolidations as well. So we're just gonna have to see how the market reacts over the next couple of weeks. Maybe we get a failed signal here, like we've only had that one time in the very beginning of the bull market where we had that 3 red weeks and then the market just climbed out of that. That's only happened once out of the several signals that we've had. So it is technically the lower probability outcome, but we have to be ready for either of those sides. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I know this one was a little bit rushed because like I said, I am at a wedding. However, hopefully you found that valuable. And if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Please smash the like. And I will also uh, link I will put the link for my Telegram group in there where you can just go in and see my different trade entries as they come out. Like I said, I have several more than this right now. And like I said, I have full transparency, whether it's profits or losses, my net deposits and everything like that. I just post on there for you guys to see and watch and follow along, because that's kind of the beauty of it. We just learn and grow together, and hopefully that's useful and helpful. So anyway, until next time, take care.